Hello, is anybody? Are you able to hear us in the hallway in the cradle? Thank you very much. No, it's okay. I just want to check the mics to make sure people can hear us, and hopefully online you're able to hear us as well.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much, Dolores. I appreciate it. Okay, so we'll get started. Good evening, everybody. I call to order the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. The time is 7:07. There's a quorum of the Select Board present. We have Mr. Gito, Vice Chair Roberts, Mr. McCrisky, and myself. If you are able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So just before we get started, I wanted to also mention that that one member, Scott Carrera, is not going to be able to attend tonight. Just for the record, I wanted to make sure that people are aware of that. The first order of business that we have is 3 items on an executive session. These are items A, executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct a collective bargaining session, grievance Frank Mogan. Item B, executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares. There's a grievance, Frank Mogan. And item C, executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation concerning the Stoughton Media Access Corp. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating or litigating position of the board and the chair so declares. We will be coming back from executive session into open session. Before we do, is there a motion to enter executive session?
Second.
Okay. Motion was made by Mr. Gito, seconded by Vice Chair Roberts. All in favor, Mr. Gito? Yes. Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. McCrisky? Yes. I vote yes as well. As I mentioned before, we will be coming back to open session shortly. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I call back to order the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. The time is 8:24. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing. Application for a transfer of a common vicular entertainment, Sunday entertainment and all alcohol license. The club doing business as Charisma, 584 Washington Street. As is our policy with all public hearings, they'll be overseen by our vice chair, Ms. Roberts. Any questions, comments, please be made through her. Thank you very much. Ms. Roberts, here's the gavel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So first, I would like to describe the procedure, and then we'll get started. First, I'll read into the record the hearing. Then I'll make a motion to open the public hearing and take a vote of the Select Board. I'll read the background, that is the department approvals and their responses. Then our guests will talk. The Select Board will ask questions. Our citizens will ask questions. The representative can have a closing statement. And then I'll ask for a motion from the Select Board to close the public hearing. And then we will make a motion to the wish of the board on the matter at hand. So to get started, I'll read the public hearing into record. A public hearing will be held by the Select Board on December 2nd, 2025 at 8 p.m. to consider the application of the Club Incorporated doing business as Charisma, located at 584 Washington Street, for a transfer of common vicular all alcohol entertainment and Sunday entertainment license. The hearing will be conducted at the Great Hall, 3rd floor, Town Hall, 10 Pearl Street, Stoughton, Mass., and or virtually via Google Meets and broadcast via Stoughton Media Access Television and live stream. Google Meets video link and telephone connection for the public comment available by calling the Select Board office at 781-341-1300, extension 9212, or email to gpereira@stoughton-ma.gov. Per order of Stephen M. Cavey, the Chair, Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority. Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So for the background, I see that there's information on tips on premises, alcohol server training. There is a floor plan, and we go to the department's responses. Department with favorable responses, which is the fire department, the collector's office, fire department approved, collector's office approved, and they said C, amendment. The water department approved, building department approved, police department approved. The Board of Health made a comment, and they said approved with recommendations. Charisma is not yet permitted, but has applied and will need an inspection after the transfer to update the application for the proposed use, 133 seats, before we can issue the new owner their FE permit. And then also the collector's comment was based upon comments, there is no objection to approve the new owner. And that's the information. Yeah. The note from the treasurer's office, it was approved, the personal property bill that was past due has been paid. And, okay, and so I read the Board of Health comment already, previously. So next is for the representatives to please introduce yourself and say your affiliation with this new organization, please.
Madam Vice Chair, I don't know if you can hear me over the.
Attorney's online.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, just their attorney is online. I just wanted to reference
Okay.
that.
So we want everyone, the attorney to introduce themselves and the representatives at the table in front of us to do the same, please.
Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, my name is Attorney Peter Nicosia, and I'm representing the applicant tonight. And also in front of you is my client's principal, the sole corporate officer, shareholder, and proposed manager of the club, Robert Kopelman. He's seated at the table in front of me.
Thank you. Can you please repeat your name, attorney?
First name is Peter, last name is Nicosia.
Thank you very much. Please tell us a little bit of why you're here. Mhm.
So tonight before you, the long-standing family that has operated Club Alex's has decided to sell and get out of the business. My client is looking to purchase the business and basically just continue the business operations as is under new ownership with a new trade name, which you've referenced in the application materials. So before you, we're looking for a transfer of the all-alcoholic liquor license, the common victualer's license, and the weekday and Sunday entertainment licenses. So I think the packages in front of you contain all of the relevant information, but by way of background, Mr. Kopelman, who is, seated in front of you, is actually a very seasoned operator of this type of establishment, having operated a similar location in Tingsboro, Massachusetts for about 13 years, and prior to that, 4 years at a different location in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Mr. Kopelman is very experienced with these types of licenses, has a stellar reputation in his past business endeavors. He has since divested ownership of those endeavors. This will be his only operation of this type. He recognizes that these licenses are privileges. He's looking to be a very respected and responsible member of the Stoughton business community. And I think all of the necessary documents supporting the applications are there. I have been in regular contact with the Board of Health. We have applied for the food service permits, and I am aware of the inspection requirements. Won't be an issue. We're looking to, we're not making any structural changes. We're not making any operational changes. Hours of operation are going to stay the same. The licenses that we're seeking are the licenses that are there now. And it's really just a new ownership situation. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Kopelman if he wants to say anything, and then we're certainly happy to answer any questions from the board.
Hi, Robert Kopelman. Peter said a lot of what I would say. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer anything that you.
Thank you very much. To the Select Board, do you have any questions for the representative, Mr. Kopelman? Mr. Gito?
I have no questions.
Oh, Chairman Cavey? Mr. McCrisky has a question.
Just if you could just give us an idea of your business plan. Police has been there a long time. Just curious to hear what your business plan is, growth, things, so forth, and you know, the relationship with the town, type of business it was in the past a very good working relationship between the police department as well. You know, most alcohol places are. You know, so I'd just like to hear your business plan a little bit.
So my business plan is basically to keep things the same. As far as, it's very important to me to have a good relationship with the town, and everybody in the town. The last two towns that I've dealt with, it was like that. You go in, and meet people in the town, and no complaints and no problems. And I'm always open at any time for anybody to call me with any kind of question.
Turn on the mic.
Any kind of change that they want.
All right.
There you go.
Were you able to hear me?
Yep, as
Yeah.
long as it's green and you speak into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And so,
Because my question, I guess I should expand a little bit, was just that it's been a lower key operation, you know, in the past. Not a lot of marketing going on, very minimal amount of vehicles in there at times, you know, and you know, when you look at other liquor establishments and so forth, that's why I was curious if you're going to be doing marketing, would you have, you know, and you expect a parking lot full of people, you're going to make sure that there's suitable parking attendants, make sure we don't have problems out in front being parked on 138, things like that. Communicating regularly with the police department as well as you feel, you know, that you need to, you know, and because that's what happens, and we do stress that because Stoughton is becoming, you know, a place where there's a lot of parties, you know, and we have function halls. We have clubs that are rented out, their function halls as well. And every once in a while, just, you know, things get out of hand. It's not anything that happens willfully. You know, it's just somebody parked, they think it's okay. And we ask all the establishments to police their own. So I'd imagine you come in and you're going to buy a business, you're going to get some advertising, so you have people coming into your establishment, right? So we just ask that you try to work with us on that by doing your own policing. You know.
so one thing that I'm really, really into is security, big time. And I like to have lots of cameras, and my cameras are open to anybody if the police have to come in for a situation or there's nothing to hide. And at my other establishments, we never had the police there, other than, you know, driving by and checking in. Or, but I think having a lot of cameras and a lot of security and a clean lot, we sweep the lot every single night in the other properties, and I think it keeps things structured.
Right, and you
If
will be,
if I may be able to add to that answer,
yeah, go ahead, Attorney.
if I could. Mr. Kopelman's last establishment in Tingsboro was at a location. Tingsboro is not a major economic community. It's predominantly a bedroom community, and the club that he operated in Tingsboro for 13 years is predominantly surrounded by residences. So even a heightened sense of attention to those types of concerns of neighborhood residents in terms of club operations. Mr. Kopelman had a very close relationship with the Tingsboro Police and Fire Departments, a very close relationship with the neighbors, and he ran that operation in a very sensitive section of town flawlessly for 13 years without any incidences, license complaints, license violations, or nothing of that sort. So he knows exactly what you're talking about. Your points are very well taken. He's going to look to have that same type of private-public partnership with the public safety and municipal officials in the town of Stoughton. And he's aware of these types of concerns. And he's one of these guys where he's going to be very proactive to prevent any of those types of situations from arising. So he's demonstrated that for 17 years, and I believe he'll bring that professionalism to your town as well.
All right, thank you. That is one of the concerns. There is a residential neighborhood right on the other side of the tree line. You're probably aware of that.
100%.
You know, and, but no, welcome to Stoughton.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. McCrisky? Okay, great. Any other questions from the board? I'm looking. Mr. Vice Chair Cavey?
None.
He said none. And Mr. Gito said none, and I have no questions. Welcome to the neighborhood. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Now I'll turn it over to our citizens. Oh, I see Mrs. Walsh has raised her hand. Mrs. Walsh.
Cynthia Walsh, 1096 Park Street. I didn't get the name of the other person.
My name is Alex Alexopoulos. I'm the current owner of Baywatch Incorporated, doing business as Club Alex's, and I just thought it would be appropriate to be here in case you guys had any questions for me. My family's obviously been in this town for 50 plus years, and I guess if I could say anything, it's that you know, this town and this club meant the world to my father. Some of you even know him or knew him. Obviously, he's since passed. And I have honestly taken over a year to get to know Mr. Kopelman here. This isn't something that was done by the seat of my pants, and it was a tough decision to come to. But again, you know, I think he is going to be a great representative of what my father has always strived to be, and be a part of this community and not be a hinder in the town. And yeah, like I said, I just thought it would make sense to be here just to represent him and the club.
Thank you very much for that introduction. It's nice to meet you. I see Mrs. Walsh has a second question.
Yes. I'm most concerned about security as far as the people entering being old enough to legitimately be there, and also making sure that people who are drinking somewhere else don't make your location their last stop, and that security makes sure that people that are already overserved, you have no interest in those people being in your establishment, obviously. So is there going to be someone right at the door?
Excuse me, yeah, please talk into the microphone.
Yes, so there would be 2 men at the door, and I'm on the same page as you. The one that serves somebody last is responsible for that person. So when the night rolls around to like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, I'm often at the door. And if I'm not at the door, I'm on the camera. And if I'm on the camera and I watch somebody get out of a car that's moving funny, I'm already telling the people at the door. I'm actually very obsessive with that. It's one of my biggest fears, actually.
I don't have any objections. I just wanted my questions answered. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Looking in the audience, no one's raised their hand. I'm looking online, and I don't see any hands raised. Oh, Mr. McCrisky, you have an additional question or comment?
It's going to, I think before we take the vote, I'll make this comment now. And Alex is here. We've spoken many times. And I knew Alex's dad for a long time. He, when things weren't popular, when people were down there, saying not nice things to Gigi, he was still a patron of this town. He helped out little league teams, baseball teams. Whenever there was a fundraiser, there was a check there. Whenever somebody was in need, he fed families during the holidays.
Breaking up.
I'm breaking up. Okay. Here we go. We're going to replace it now. As I was saying, Gigi made himself available, made his business available to support the town of Stoughton, the people in the town. Some people didn't like the business, but he stayed to be the consummate businessman, and he cared about people. Alex, your dad's smiling down now, and he knows that you're going to be pretty happy with what you're going to do. Yeoman's effort to keep your dad's legacy alive, but people make their own legacies, and your dad has that legacy. There's a lot of people that are watching this right now say, yep. And he was a friend of Stoughton. He was a friend of mine. And, sir, good luck with you coming in. And you got big shoes to fill.
We are 100% on the same page. 100%. With caring about people and caring about what goes, 100%.
So now I ask the representatives and the attorney, did you have any closing remarks before we bring a close to this public hearing?
My only closing remarks is thank you for your time. I do believe that Mr. Kopelman will prove to be a valuable private-public partner for the community. I think he'll continue Alex's dad's legacy in good stead, and we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ready for
A
motion?
motion to close.
Motion to close the hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the application as presented as we close out a legacy of Gigi Alexopoulos and we move into Mr. Kopelman. I make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Congratulations. You left a
Thank you
great
very
legacy.
much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Happy holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays
Best
to
of
you.
luck. Be well.
Be well. I'll return the gavel back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Best of luck. So the next item on our agenda is the fiscal '27 budget presentation. Mr. Town Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you to the members. The people to my left need no introduction. We all know Biz, and we, of course, know Mark. And I'd like to at least acknowledge the other three members of the budget team, Deanna and Trish. And, of course, they let me tag along occasionally and make decisions once in a while, although it is fleeting. Tonight, we want to present to you the first draft of the FY27 operating budget and toward the end, the capital plan. This year of at the end of the fourth, it's the very beginning of my first year was the last 2 weeks, and now the next 3 years. This is the most difficult year. The headwinds that they talk about in the press are real. The expense accounts that are our largest expense accounts have got the double-digit increases, health insurance, liability, OPEB, and the like. So it's like a perfect storm. But I'm really pleased to tell you that notwithstanding the receipt of additional local aid information like Chapter 70, as we sit here this evening, we've got a balanced budget. The process we'd like to bring you through is on the first 3 pages, there are a number of bullet items. Given the hour, we'll go through them very quickly. I would invite through you, Mr. Chairman, if any of the members have a question at that point, we'd be happy to answer it at that point. And then we'll fly through it again. And if you don't have questions, we are going to meet as a body again on December 16th. And the objective at that meeting is to take your amendments and through you, Mr. Chairman, ask for votes to see which of amendments move forward and which do not. That's the only way to have an orderly process with respect to changing the budget. So with that, I'd like to begin.
Mr. Town Manager, I
Yes,
just want to
sir.
make sure to clarify that, and just as instruction to the board, if you have any questions along the way, to simply ask them as they come up.
I think that's the most productive way of doing it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. So with that, I'd like to refer you to the first chart. Again, we won't speak at length. Biz, Mark, and I are going to trade off in response, so you'll hear us in perfect sync. First item, reduction in the budget, full-time employees. I want to point out that in the first year of the budget, over the past 3 years, we had 330 FTEs. The budget before you is for 308 FTEs for the municipal side of your government. Therefore, we've got 22 fewer FTEs than we had 3 years ago. And the reason that is we've used technology and we've used consolidation of tasks with our existing workforce, and it's worked out beautifully. We've saved a lot of money. We've picked up major gains in terms of efficiency and cost reductions, and so that's a program that we'll consider well into the future. I've also had extensive discussions with our superintendent, my friend Dr. Bayetta, about instituting the same strategy in the school where we can reduce cost without reducing services. It's proven to work, and we'd like to continue that across all town departments. Next point for me, local receipts. We've conservatively estimated at 90% of fiscal 25 actuals. I think DOR will tell us that's the appropriate, most conservative approach to estimating our revenues. Biz?
The next section of our revenues are cherry sheet revenue, and that's one of our most volatile aspects where we do not know what our cherry sheet revenue and assessments will be until after the governor's budget, which comes out at the end of January. And then there's reiterations that come throughout the year. And typically, it used to be we would have our cherry sheets approved in May before people got to town meeting. Currently, the status is they don't get approved till August. One of the things we did talk about, and Mr. Calt can speak to it further if you need, is that any adjustments to the cherry sheet will be addressed should they come in higher Chapter 70 aid and net expenses against that, and any changes to the regular cherry sheet, which would go to the town side. So we will work that, and we will keep everybody apprised of that situation.
Members, the increase in your municipal departments prior to the inclusion of public health, which I'll speak to in a minute, is 3.01%. When we add in public health and visiting nurses to the operating budget, the overall operating budget, which was previously an enterprise account, that comes to 4.27. Later on in the presentation, we'll talk more about that integration plan.
Okay, the school department budget, what we have done is we looked at the DESI Foundation from fiscal '26, and currently the school department budget is representing a 6.03% increase above the foundation from 2026, which an overall budget increase from last year of 3.5% or $2.35 million as an increase to the school budget. And as we do not have a school budget at this time, we felt as though this was appropriate to move forward. And also, again, any changes to the cherry sheet, Chapter 78, will have an impact.
Thank you, Biz. Once again, members, this budget is free of any use of free cash. That in this day and age, that's a major accomplishment among municipalities. Second point, the cost of living adjustment for our employees has, for non-union, non-CBA employees, is set at 2.5% across the board. And I'll say that through Mark's efforts, we gave very clear instructions to department heads, and with very few exceptions, they came in within the guidelines, the budget guidelines that you approved and that we gave them as we built this budget. So everyone is at 2.5%, and as we work with the unions, and very few exceptions there. And where there are exceptions, we'll explain them. With respect to the unions, with two exceptions, and we're working through those differences, the unions have worked closely with us to stay within that 2.5% framework. Liz?
Okay, health insurance estimates, as we have all heard through the news, that health insurance is going up double digits, and in some cases, more than 20%. We have budgeted a 14.8% increase in the health insurance budget, and this, at this point in time, is a very good estimate. Again, we will not have final figures on this until the early spring. So we are doing a conservative budget, but we're also making sure that we have this expense covered for the future. Liability insurances, which include general liability, going up approximately 8%, and that 8% we believe is also going to be conservative, but we're taking the best approach we can. Next is the regional schools. With the regional schools, we are budgeting them at a 12.4% increase. The reason for that increase is that there's been changes to how students will be enrolled in the schools going forward for the two regional schools. And we are addressing this proactively so that if we have more students going to the school, we can plan for that. And then we have Norfolk County Retirement. We did get a schedule that goes out roughly 10 years on Norfolk County Retirement. The amount going up right now is 4%, and that 4% is roughly $400,000. You'll see that in the detailed summary reports that you have there. So that is the big increase as we go forward, and this is something that we will need to plan for going forward into the future.
Workers' comp.
Oh, and workers' compensation, that's also in the general liability insurances. So everything is going up pretty much 8% across the board in that area.
Members, the next line item is new growth. As we did the recap last week.
I missed one, I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
Our budget includes OPEB liability, which we had agreed to last year when we were doing our budgets to be in line with our finance advisors and our Moody's ratings reports, that we would budget $100,000 each year to go into the OPEB liability account. Additionally, workers' compensation has been moved from the other insurance liabilities to workers' compensation trust fund. This will now be a transfer that occurs every single year, as the town many years ago created a trust fund for workers' comp. However, from what I have been seeing, the money was never transferred over. So we will be doing that going forward. So it's part of the budget. It's in there. We are going to be transferring directly so that that workers' comp account gets a good retention or retained earnings in that account for any future issues that may come up. Okay, your turn.
Thank you, Biz. Next footnote, you'll see that we're estimating new growth at $900,000 for next year. If you think back to our recap several weeks ago, of course, we expect our new growth to be higher, but as Biz has skillfully trained Mark and I, we can't budget it, we can't spend it, we can't even talk about it until it's certified by DOR. So we have taken DOR's guidance in estimating new growth for next year for budget purposes at $900,000. Liz, would you like to speak to that?
So one of the other things Mr. Coulter will be talking about has to do with subsidies. You want to talk about that one?
Sure.
Okay.
This is the first time in many years that there are no subsidies in any departments, no free cash subsidies in VNA, water, sewer, Cedar Hill, or even trash, which is a non-enterprise fund. The reason that is, and let me just take a moment to explain it, as promised, we are going to roll out a mobile integrated health business plan to you. It's impossible to economically survive with our current VNA model. We spoke about this a little bit at this meeting about a month and a half ago. We are reassigning our opiate staff, we're reassigning our wellness staff to public health and moving the public health in under our EMS or fire department. And in that way, we can provide proactive public health care to the citizens of Stoughton only. We will not be reaching out beyond the borders of the town of Stoughton. Now, folks will ask, and again, we're going to get into a detailed discussion on this, but people will ask, will we still have visiting nurses? We will still have, after the reduction in staff, 3 trained nurses on board. So if a senior citizen calls us, we will not be billing anybody any further. It's a department like if you call the police department or the fire department. You don't get a bill. If you call and you need a nurse, the nurses will respond immediately. And then they will counsel or consult with the citizen of Stoughton to find them further nursing if they need continued care. Mobile integrated health is based upon the premise that hospitals cannot bill insurance companies if a patient returns within 30 days for the same condition for which they were discharged. So the hospitals will reach out and fund programs like ours to avoid uncompensated care, where they treat a person who comes back the day after they were released and they can't bill anybody for it. So it's a comprehensive plan. We will have it for you prior to town meeting so that you understand it. You can weigh in on it. You can amend it. You can give us guidance. We ask for that. But for that reason, we are recommending the town meeting dissolve the enterprise fund and convert all of our public health resources under one operation, reporting in to our EMS coordinator, Chief Carroll. I'd be happy to take a question on that before we move on.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Coulter. I just wanted a little more information about that transfer. So current day, it's Public Health / VNA, Visiting Nurse Association. So do your plan, I guess, as a cost-effective measure, is to transfer some of the FTEs to the fire department? So does that mean that Chief Carroll will be supervising, managing that staff?
Yes and no, Deborah. All of them will remain within the public health department.
Okay.
Okay, and in fact, we'll be increasing the public health department with our wellness coordinator and our opiate coordinator. They all fall under public health. The nurses fall under public health. If you look at the way it is right now, most of our efforts and 90% of our expense is in VNA and not public health.
Right.
We're reversing that. We're making a priority of Stoughton public health on many fronts. As you know, our federal government is reorganizing their philosophy and strategy with respect to public health. We get more questions into our public health department today than we've ever had before because of the confusion and chaos created by that. All this week, people were down there getting shots, Stoughton residents, for flu, for other vaccines, and getting counsel and advice. So we're stopping the bleeding with our VNA. For every dollar we build with VNA nursing, now that we're complete with the analysis, we lost 24 cents. So it wasn't something you could make up by increased volumes reaching out to other towns, because every dollar you build, we lost money incrementally. So we're going to provide VNA services as a part of the Public Health Department, which reports into Chief Carroll, not part of the Fire Department, its own Public Health Department. Convert it from a
Enterprise fund?
enterprise account into a department account. Will save significant money in the process, and focus on keeping Stoughton residents, the public, healthy.
Thank you very much. My part B of that question, I can see the similarities, well, proximity to the EMTs are in that area, and that's nursing, medical care, health. That's the kind of background. And with the public health, they have the same similar background. So I see it on one side of the equation, but I can't help but ask, have you considered what it would look like if public health was in the Council on Aging area?
We have, and really at
And
your
what,
request.
can you
we-
talk us through that, and then that's my last
Happy
question.
to that. Happy to do that. Through mobile integrated care, we're going to be dealing with sick people. And to bring those people into or treat them at the COA could create a disease migration situation. Mobile integrated health is based upon us going out to them where they live. So by way of example, because it's all under one public health, let me give you the perfect model, if I may. Mrs. Jones just recovered from surgery and she's been sent home, but her dressings are failing. If she goes back to the hospital, they're going to treat her in the ER, but the ER will not get paid for that. If she calls us, we do get paid for a mobile integrated health ambulance, which has been a previously retired ambulance that were refurbished. We'll go out to that person's home. We'll provide that VNA care that they need and they deserve and they pay for. If they need extended long-term care, our nurse will stay there to provide access and do all the paperwork for that patient. At the same time, they will do proactive mobile integrated health. They will check to see if the senior who's being treated has had their flu shot. They will look to see if they've had their shingle shot, and if necessary, provide that injection in their home. Beyond that, if the senior is diagnosed, or if there's concern that there's some other condition that perhaps is undiagnosed, through mobile integrated health, they're able to have teleconference calls with the ER docs. And between the VNA nurse and the medic who's on board that truck can provide triage care and treatment under the auspices and the guidance of the ER doc on duty. So it's a very proactive type of health care as opposed to them going to the ER. The reason Mike Carroll really, and so did the VNA, we're not big on bringing it to the COA is because if there was a person who was sick and called in, we'd rather go to them than have them come to a larger population of people that could be, where there could be germ spread. So that was the reason for it. However, there will be a lot of mobile education to our seniors at the COA, and there'll be a lot of I can never say the word. Vaccinations proactively at the VNA. I guess if I were to summarize this thing, we're not backing down on healthcare in Stoughton. We're actually heavily investing in proactive healthcare as opposed to reactive healthcare. And we're going to come see people literally where they live. It's pretty exciting. And I may have told you before, the whole concept came from the show Chicago Fire, where two female paramedics wanted to put a retired ambulance to work and go out and help people who are recovering from a hospital stay. So we believe, Mike believes, Janet believes from Public Health, that when we combine everything, proactive wellness program, proactive opiate education program, proactive public health through vaccinations, and proactive triage work through mobile integrated health, we are going to really amplify the amount of proactive health care we're providing to the citizens of Stoughton at a much lower cost. I hope that's helpful, Deborah.
Thank you very much. That was very clear.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mr. Coulter,
Yes, sir.
do you have that written down anywhere?
I have to write it down, yes.
Could I have a copy of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so
So
much.
what I can send you right away, Lou, is from Mike Carroll, is what the mobile integrated health program is.
I've gone online, I found
You've got
what the state has on that. and-
Great.
And it's kind of scattershot
What I'll do is,
state, but I'm interested, not what he has on that, I'm interested on
the business
our
plan.
program, our program.
It's just going to require me, Lou, taking the time to write the plan.
It's
With-
not written?
Yeah, I just gave it to you from all the discussions with staff. We're in the process of developing all the details.
So when can you get it written in?
Let me get through the full-time smack job I'm doing right now, and then I promise I will sit
Well,
and write that
maybe
business
somebody else can help you do that.
No, I don't
mean,
think so. That's my job as your town manager, and you'll be the first to have it, and I'll work on it right
I hope
away.
I'm not, but that's okay. I mean,
Thank you, Lou.
I guess I'm interested in a little bit more of the detail
Of course.
of what you talked about.
Of
Not,
course.
you know, there has to be something that's put together that indicates where you're going. It's your business plan
Yes.
for this program, and I would assume that you would have that available.
Lou, we had to have the concept in order to prepare the budget. When we change the plan, we'll be doing public information centers, public information sessions, so the entire town is aware of the investment we're making in public health. I really do appreciate your request for it. I swear to you, the moment I'm not a martyr. I was in here working at 3 o'clock this morning. The moment I get time to develop the business plan, this board, of course, will be the first to have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the snow and ice budget. I have made a recommendation that we increase by 100,000. The town has been, like many communities, stagnant at $400,000 per year for the snow and ice budget. It is the only thing that we can raise legally on the recap. It's called a legal deficit. However, when we go to do our recap and we have to put in $800,000 on the recap, it creates a increased taxation to the townspeople. So we'd like to try and start taking a more proactive approach, increasing it by just $100,000 in this year. And historically, you've been spending over $500,000 each year. In 2025, it was $826,000. And people may say, we didn't get a lot of snow, but we got a lot of ice. And that also has to be treated. So that would be a good conservative approach to help maintain the streets during storms.
Is that going to be enough?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is that going to be enough?
Is that going to be enough?
Well, what we want to do is we want to be conservative, because once you increase your snow and ice budget, you cannot reduce it.
I know that.
Right. I would say 500,000 is a good place to start. And then we treat it going forward, and like everything else, we review our budgets, take a 3 to 4 year history and see what's been going on and increase it incrementally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Biz. Next bullet point has to do with succession planning. Here's a staggering statistic. Over the next 3 years, we'll have 12 department heads entering retirement. Over the next 3 years, over a dozen Stoughton department heads, not counting school, will be entering retirement. And not because she's to my immediate left, but one of the most significant people to retire, the end of this March, is Elizabeth. She'll be retiring from employment with the town of Stoughton. So we've got a
I'm
very...
sorry to hear that.
We're going to miss her.
I'm sorry to hear that, too.
One of the most significant operating budget increases is in the finance department. We need to recruit and hire now a capable professional with business talents and education and training that can train under business supervision. Now, that means we're going to be double counting for a long time, almost like what we're doing in the school system with superintendents. It's the only way to have an orderly transition without recreating the types of crises that Biz was forced to deal with over the past 18 months. We're going to have that in many, many, many departments. HR, the clerk's office, police chief, fire chief. I could name a dozen off the top. What is it? Building department, town manager, COA. Well, you may have to kick me out. The COA and many others. There's a dozen senior people. So this approach to succession planning is expensive because you're going to be paying a crossover of 2 people in those very important positions. That's why you're going to see the budget and finance the way it is right now.
Could I ask a question
Please do.
about that? If Biz is going to retire in March, why are we not recruiting for a person now?
Oh, we are.
We are.
Yes.
Then why, if we have a person on, then why would we need to have a second person behind that? I mean, we're adding a person beyond that point. And I mean, Biz has done a good job, and I don't not mean to, the next thing that I say, I don't mean to take away from that, but I don't think that you're doing a job for 2 people.
Actually, it's
so-
4 people, but that's okay.
Well, that may be true, but I mean, if you're looking for another department head, I'm sure that person's not going, this is not going to be that person's first rodeo. So
Correct.
I would expect that they would be near the capability of you. And so that's my question. And
mean,
you
let
can
me
answer
speak.
that whenever you'd like.
I can talk about it.
So there's no replacing Biz. But Biz and I and Mark have put out feelers in the marketplace. Remember, Biz is an instructor with MMA. So Biz came up with 3 highly competent potential candidates. Through Biz, we've reached out to all 3. One of them has expressed interest, a person we've interviewed in the past and we know. And Biz and Mark and I have great respect for her. Where the expense comes in is in the overlap. That it's not the kind of job, if I left tomorrow, there wouldn't be any required transition because Mark is here, should you choose Mark for that position. Mark is here, he's trained, he's coached, he's up to speed. A person coming in, what Biz has had to unbundle in the past year and a half to 2 years has been so complex. And with a new employee financial manual coming on board in the next several weeks, that is going to be such a training opportunity. The expense is coming with the carryover where they're both here at the same time. That's where the major expense is coming from. We do have budgeted in there an additional, I think, additional staff accountant.
What we do have budgeted in there is the finance director, and then we're examining the point of having an assistant finance director. So restructuring the office so that there is qualified backup all the way around. We do have qualified people right now, but to be honest, it can take, and you saw how long it took to replace Mr. Rowe. It took about 9 months. And that's going to have to be your expectation, that it could take up to 9 months to replace me, although the recruitment's always already ongoing. You want to be prepared so that if we don't get somebody in here right away, we can move forward in another in another aspect and try to avoid hiring any type of a consultant to assist the town.
Lou, I want to follow up on your question, because I know where you're going, and I think you make a great point. Right now, we've got budgeted, correct me if I'm wrong, Biz, a finance director and assistant finance director. So that would be, right now, Biz is the finance director, and the recruit is the assistant finance director, until that assistant takes over Biz's position. At that point in time, we may find that we don't need an assistant finance director. And so we'll have some latitude in this budget. We're hoping for the best, we're planning for the worst, and again, I'm not trying to spot Biz. There aren't many of them out there. And so we're hoping we can do it with one person, but what we won't let happen is our financial condition sliding back into the condition it was in 3 years ago. And so that is our plan to deal with what is perhaps the most sensitive and high-risk succession plan we've got right now. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to renew and continue our increased workforce education and training staff. Lou, you'll be delighted to know I'm going to a training program in January. I knew you'd appreciate that. We're also investing in continued education for several department heads that are on the younger side that we want to invest in for the future. We intend to spend all of our training budget this year on continuing development. Reasonable projections for labor negotiations and budget. As you know, we made a commitment to the Finance Committee that if we didn't have CBAs done by December 31st, then they went into the following town meeting. So if that occurs, then we needed to accrue, that's the private sector term, we needed to accrue potential increased labor costs. But I will tell you that we've held the line on the level of increases in labor contracts. So we're not going to be carrying over as much money into FY27 as we did into FY26, where we had no idea what the impact would be for DPW, police, and fire. So we now have a grasp on that. We will accrue money for potential later on labor contracts getting executed, but it will not be a major budget buster.
May I say one thing on
Sure.
that? I think I've mentioned this before, but this is budget season, and it is the idea, the time to think about what's going to happen in the future. We have given percentage raises to people, and that helps everybody move up the scale. We're at the point, I think, basically in town government and also in the general public, where the people at the top, when they get 3%, they get a lot of money. The people at the bottom at 3% don't get enough to cover getting food and everything else. And I would suggest that we start to think about having a bump that goes for everybody so they can put food on the table and then give a lesser amount as a percentage. That's just a thought. I'm not going to be around here to deal with it, but it's really important to be able to make sure that people have enough money to come to work and do their work and also feel that they're getting a fair shake.
Lou, I really genuinely appreciate that point of view, and your timing is impeccable. We spent 4 hours in that meeting today negotiating with one of our bargaining units, making that exact argument, that the higher level people with their budget increase may get $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, where the lower level people may get $1.50, and it's just inequitable. They literally today, they won their debate with me, but that resulted in there 3 people who were going to get major increases not getting those increases because the unions opposed them. What they wanted was what you gave to those 3 people had to go to all 38 people, which would have been $250,000. And so we're trying to balance your reality, which I support, with the traditional bargaining positions of organized labor. And their position is generally, everything's got to be the same for everybody. When we know that that approach is bringing about inequities, to your point. My pay raise is very different than a person making $30,000 at the same percentage. The dollar value is quite different. And we're trying to fix that, but it's going to take mitigation bargaining and impact bargaining to be able to do exactly what you propose and I support. We'll get there. We've made a lot of progress with our unions because we understand each other, but I will tell you the last 24 hours have been brutally difficult, trying to change that paradigm.
One thing before you move on, I'd just like to say, I think we've gone about 30 minutes and we're on slide 4. If people have questions, I want them to be able to ask them, but if they just want to share their opinions, I think we should wait until future meetings to do that.
Fair enough.
So we can get through this.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I didn't mean to do that then.
No, it's fine. I just want to be able to get through the 15 slides, and we're not even through the first 5.
And what we'll do is go to the highlights, and if you want us to go back, we'll go back to cover those things we did cover. No, not necessary. We're restructuring the Human Resource Department again with wellness, moving over to public health, and we're continuing the preventive maintenance program for ADA, and we've made great progress in doing that, including your community center becoming a fully ADA compliant building. We've got a modest budget for the new community center, and I want to reiterate again, that community center is only to be used for Stoughton citizens and Stoughton employees. There'll be no out-of-town rentals for that community center. And although we've got an expense budget, we also have a revenue stream coming in from that, which we hope would be close to break even or better. Mark?
You can tell who prepares the slide, they speak the least amount. So.
Yeah, Mark made these assignments.
All right. The next bullet is continue the implementation of online permitting. We're well through that. We finished phase 1, which was building department. Phase 2 is conservation, planning, board of health, all those departments. Pretty much complete with that. And then phase 3 will be moving into very soon, which is your selectmen licensing, and then a couple of small permits. Also, we're going to continue to actively pursue grants for our budget. As you'll see later in the presentation, with our capital plan, with a lot of the traffic projects we've been working on, a lot of these projects would never happen through our operating budget or borrowing or anything like that. They're $14 million projects happening right now in the town as we speak. So we'll keep on applying for grants for stormwater, for culverts, for water, for traffic projects, just to help out the budget. And obviously, we prioritize infrastructure projects in our budget. The capital plan will be presented later on tonight. You'll see the detail, you'll see the effort our department heads have put into it, and town meeting has been supporting our new effort for the water main replacements and the paving articles we've had at the spring town meetings. Tom?
Mark, please go right to the next chart.
Okay.
And that's yours.
All right. We've kind of touched upon this. Next slide. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Gilda. The budget tonight is an estimate. As we've mentioned several times, there's various parts in the budget, big parts of the budget that we have to estimate because we don't get the numbers till later in the year. And it's just very, very important for people to know this is a moving target. It changes week by week, day by day sometimes. So the first thing is obviously the school department budget. We estimated at 3.5%. We don't know. We believe that's a fair budget at this point. Again, we'll get that budget in the end of December. State aid, as Biz mentioned previously, that comes in January or February. Norfolk County retirement, same time frame. Southeastern Regional School, and that comes around March, I believe, right, Biz? Yep. Right. And Norfolk County Agricultural, thank you. MWRA preliminary estimates, those come in February. And then the winter snow ice deficit is in April. So between January and April, you get a lot of these estimates finalized, unfortunately. Okay, next slide is yours, Bills.
Next two are business.
You can have the mic, yes.
Okay, thanks. What we have is key points on the revenue, and our property tax revenue levy was 86,592,150 in 2026, and the estimated levy, which we just got our tax levy approved last week, is 89,656,953. The estimated growth, we're increasing from 800,000 to 900,000. Although our new growth last year is 1.7 and this year it's 1.6, we cannot plan on that new growth to continue in that type of fashion because it's extremely high. Although we do have some big construction projects coming on board, we still need to be conservative. Cherry sheet revenue, which we had already spoken about, is at the roughly 3%. Local receipts are at 90%. The indirect costs are representative of money that the enterprise funds pay to the general fund in order for us to provide support services. The next section is the summary for the budget presentation and the recap pending approval. I believe this is the final recap. Actually, it is, and this is pretty much the same as what went through, a little bit different. Excess capacity right now is 21,000 versus 15,000. I just want to be clear on that. And it doesn't become final until the DOR approves our recap and our tax rate and everything. So I just want to be clear on that. The estimated revenue, we do have a large increase in debt on the excluded debt. That's roughly $1.8 million, which a lot of that is going to be interest for the new school project. And we will also have other things that we'll be planning on for 2028 as far as the final excluded debt for the fire department. Cherry sheet estimates, we did the 3%. Local receipts, pretty much 90% of what was collected in the last year. Last year, we collected approximately $17 million in local receipts. We are estimating $15 million for 2027. The other sources of revenue is transfer from Title V receipts. And when someone has a septic loan that the town gives them through a granting authority from the state, we also pay the debt on that through the general fund. So we take proceeds from the Title V to pay the general fund in order to cover that debt. And then the indirect costs, clearly there's no more indirect costs for the public health, which I believe last year was approximately $286,000. So that is a change for the revenues. That's okay. So general fund sources of revenue is, again, estimated everything, 151,376,697.17. And to the right-hand side, you'll see a lovely chart that was created by Mr. Tisdale, and it says where we're getting our funding from. That's a very important piece for people to be aware of. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Calter claimed responsibility for that. So if it's wrong, you can blame him.
Yeah. He cut pieces of paper up and colored them and pasted them together. All right, next slide, slide 9. That's the expense summary. Very similar format to what Biz just mentioned for the revenue, but an expense format. As you can see, the chart compares FY26 budgets to the FY27 town manager budget. At the bottom is a summary of the increases. Total for the municipal departments, we mentioned before, is 4.27% with the inclusion of public health. That equates to $1.47 million. Total estimated public schools, again, it's estimated at 3.5% increase. That equates to $2.35 million, and that is 6.03% above the FY26 DESI Foundation budget. The shared expenses are 11.6% increase, which is $4.78 million. And when you sum that all together, the total general fund goes up just about 6%, which is $8.5 million.
So what we did do is we made a little bit of a terminology change. You have been used to saying shared joint expenses. We changed the terminology because we felt it better represented what the shared costs are. It's shared cost fixed expenses, fixed costs. Fixed costs, just like in your home, it's things that you cannot adjust. These are your responsibilities. So the school shares in this as well as the town. So the retirement of debt service, as I stated earlier, 1.84 million increase. Regional school assessments at this time is estimated at 177,000. I'm rounding. Benefits and insurances are at 1,977,000. State and county assessments are 102,000. Transfer to the trust funds are 680,000. They have previously been in the budget, so it's not an increase to the budget. It's just a reclassification of those numbers. So total fixed costs increase is 11.87%, which is $4.78 million. And the increase in borrowing is due to excluded and non-excluded debt, the increase in enrollment projections due to new enrollment requirements with the agricultural school and the VOTEC, compromised health insurance for employees, retired employees, and townwide insurances. And this is something we had already spoken of previously. We just want to make sure that we summarize it a little bit so it's a little bit clearer for people.
All right, thank you, Biz. All right, next slide, slide 11. Key budget drivers. These are additional key budget drivers, additional to what we just mentioned. These are mostly specific to actual departments. The point of this slide is not to call out specific departments, but to point out some parts in the budget for specific departments that have a large monetary increase. So, for example, the police department is 3.4%. That's a good budget. They presented an awesome budget, but 3.4% in a police budget equates to $327,000 increase in our overall budget. So I won't go through them all. We mentioned a lot of these, like the snow removal, things of that nature, accounting department. We mentioned those reasons. The school department and public health. Those are all been discussed before, so I won't get into the details on that. All right, Biz, you get the next slide.
Okay, so we're looking at the enterprise accounts and a basic summary. Water enterprise, we have a reduction of 3.1%. Sewer enterprise, 1.75% increase. Cedar Hill is a 12.3% increase, but that has an awful lot of improvements to the greens that will be going on this year. Also, public health is negative 100%. Should the public health be rescinded at the annual town meeting. I think it's important to point out that in the past, the VNA, Public Health, has been running about $1 million per year. $1,004,000 was last year. With the new budget changes that we're making, it's going to be running closer to $434,000. So that is a big change. At this point in time, we are not recommending any rate increases to the enterprise funds. So we will be keeping those rates stagnant for the time being. In the future, the board will want to consider increasing 1% per year. So there's not a large increase in the future. Okay, it's for you.
Thank you, Biz. Next. Very quickly, our FTEs over the last 4 years are down 22 FTEs, full-time employees. Mark?
Thank you, Tom. The next slide is a representation of the overall department head org structure. Submitted with your packets, you have all the org structures for every specific department. This is the overall for all the departments. I'd like to give a special thank you to Larry Langlois. He works diligently on these org charts, well, at least the last couple of weeks, quite often. And they've been very presentable. They're up to date. He works side by side with Deanna and Tracy in HR to make sure that his numbers match their numbers and the org charts match what the departments have presented. So thank you, Larry.
Members, the last chart are your town manager's objectives for fiscal '27. they're not exactly budget items. So may I suggest, Mr. Chairman, we defer that to another meeting where we put this as an agenda item in and of itself.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So when I go through and have people, if there's any questions, general questions, I'm going to allow the members to ask those. Mr. Gio, do you have any further questions? Ms. Roberts?
This is my question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is regarding any type of compliance issues following up with audits or anything like that. Was there a need to put any dollars aside in anticipation for that? Like, as an example, the additional cleanup in the general ledger accounts, maybe that's ongoing, I don't know.
With the audits, we have standard contracts with the audits. So we have our independent auditor, which is budgeted, and we also have our actuarial, which is our OPEB audit, which is in our regular audit. As far as cleanup of the general ledger and all the other things that have been going on for the last year and a half, I have been doing that work, and there's more to do. And it's progressing, and you will see last year we brought in $12 million of free cash. I certainly do not expect that this year, but there's been a lot of things being cleaned up, and there will continue to be cleaned up going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's the only question I had.
Thank you. Mr. McCrisky? No questions or comments? So I don't have any questions. I appreciate you guys taking the time to the immense amount of time it took to put this together, to present to us. One thing I just want to mention is that you don't have to drive very far to find towns that are really struggling, and we've seen in the news a lot of neighboring towns that I would consider comparable to Stoughton have some really significant problems that have surfaced over the last recent 2 to 3 years. Some of them even somewhat, not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, months ago, and so to have such a clear direction, a budget that doesn't require the use of free cash, no subsidies, to be in the position that we're in, to be able to vote on a budget like this as we do, it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen because you don't trip into it and just happen to do it. It takes expertise, hard work, and attention to detail. And the three of you, the remaining budget team, both with Trish and Deanna, have done over the last several years an absolutely remarkable job. And I really have to say thank you very much for doing that. Just as a citizen of the town, I want to express my gratitude for the work that you're doing, because this is not, I know it does not happen easy. Yeah, I know it took a lot of hours and a lot of hard work. And even before you did the hard work, it took years of study, trial and error, as you sort of hone your own skills to be able to do this for the benefit of Stoughton. So thank you so very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If there are no further questions or comments, then we can move on to any follow-up, or do you want to move on to the next item? The next item on the agenda is the 5-year capital plan presentation.
There you go. It is. It still works. It still works. All right. Are we ready to go, Mr. Chairman? Are you ready, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, sorry.
All
Yes,
set?
please.
Okay. All right. Good evening. Mark Tisdale, Assistant Town Manager. We're going to go through a high-level overview of our capital plan, where it's at, and the purpose of tonight's meeting is pretty much just to tell you how it's been crafted, where it's come from, what the schedule is, and what the schedule is remaining. The capital plan is presented right now. It's not just the budget. It doesn't have to be done during just budget season. It should be a year-round document. It's a fluid document. It can change from year to year. It's going to change from year to year. It can change from month to month, depending on different elected officials, what your priorities are, what different town managers, what the residents want, our financial conditions, things like that. So it's very important that everybody understands it's a fluid document. What should be set in stone is pretty much what we have for this year, for FY '27, but the other years after that, things can change. All right? Again, it's a 5-year plan. I'd like to also just mention, it is not Mark's capital plan. I've heard that very many times. Okay? It's not Mark's plan. It's all of our plans, all right? It's the community's plan. Mark takes the information from all the department heads, from the selectmen with their priorities, town manager priorities, takes it from all the stakeholders and puts it into a format that's easily understandable, hopefully, and readable. And then with the help of the finance director, we try to fund it properly and responsibly. All right? Again, I just want to re-mention this is a draft plan at this point. It is not a finalized plan. The big reason behind that is we do not have the school capital. Now, if you've heard that the last 2 or 3 years, I have spoke to Dr. Baeta today. Actually, through email. I guess that's not speaking, but we've emailed. Their capital plan is coming very soon, and that will be rolled into this. And as you can imagine, some of the school items are the most impactful items that affect everything we're doing. So on this spreadsheet you see in front of you, you have it in your backup, it's on the screen. We're showing half of it. We're showing what the items are, right? There's a part you don't see, it's how we fund them. There's a lot of columns on the right side. We will get into that, but we really need to get the school capital before we invest a lot of time into that part of the capital plan. But I can tell you the items themselves have been vetted thoroughly, prioritized. These aren't nice-to-have projects. These are priority projects. The schedule that happened this year, we trained department heads. I came up with specific guidance. A lot of it, I wouldn't say I just thought about it myself. It came from DLS guidance and templates in other towns, what they do, and what I thought worked. We trained them on September 16th. Department heads submitted their five-year capital to the town manager on October 30th. I don't know what's gone over to the right of me over here, but it's very distracting. and then there's a preliminary 5-year capital plan that's submitted by December 1st. That's actually per the charter and our new financial policies that are being crafted by the Collins Center. Thank you. That's right in line with it. So December 1st, it's December 2nd. We're 1 day late, but we're here with our preliminary 5-year capital plan. Department heads submit their FY27 capital by December 31st every year. So that's coming up very soon. The first column in our capital plan is very accurate. I'm hoping when I get the capital items from the department heads, because I made it very clear on December 31st or before, that they match up exactly with the first column, because they submitted their capital plan already, and those items should match what they're giving us for the town meeting warrant. Again, after that, things might change around a year or two, or the money might change a little bit, but it should be pretty accurate, the first column. The select board, we're looking for you to review the plan over the next month. You'll have a presentation in January, at least once or twice, a capital plan presentation. Please review it between now and then. Come up with thoughts, ideas. There's a section called Select Board Projects. Those are usually the building projects, the bigger projects, things like the armory, things like the police station. We need guidance from you as the policymakers in town of do we want to do this project? When do we want to do it? How do we want to do it? It's very important. It can't just be 1 or 2 people that make this decision. The final capital plan is supposed to be submitted by January 15th. Again, depending on the school capital, that may or may not occur, but you'll have a very solid municipal capital plan by January 15th. And as you know, the warrant opens on January 20th and closes on February 3rd. And that's pretty much the schedule moving forward. As you review this, I'll just make a couple remaining points. A capital item is something that's $25,000 or more. It's a tangible asset or has a projected estimate of $25,000 or more, and it has a useful life of 5 years or more. It can be a design project that's associated with a bigger project. So if there's a $50,000 design for an intersection, an intersection that's going to cost $500,000, well, that counts as a capital item. So design also counts. We came up with guidance with the department heads. We have 2 new columns in the capital plan. They're priority ranking columns, which we did not have last year. Again, Mark just thought about these things himself, right? Not a little bit, but kind of pulled it from other sources and other plans and came up with a nice hybrid approach. But there's 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s for the ranking of projects. And I'll get more into detail when we do future presentations what those are, but obviously 1 is urgent, mandated requirements. We have to do these. 2s are high priority. 4s would be like lower, nice to haves, things like that, to give you a perspective. I think I mentioned the last item, which I was going to go through, was the plan format. I think we hit on that. The left side of the sheet is the description of the items with the years, FY27 to FY31. The right side you don't see in front of you because that's the whole funding part of it. And again, one last thing I'd like to mention is the capital plan does show items that we're not borrowing for, or that we're not paying out of our operating budget. It's things like grants. It gives you a complete picture of what the big projects are. So the $14 million grant that we were able to land for the Route 138 project that's going right now would be on this plan. It's a $14 million infrastructure project in our town. It needs to be on our capital plan, although it will be funded by other sources, which would be a column, and that would be a grant. That's an example. That's all I got for you tonight, but please review this plan. It's very important to me that you review this plan. I like putting the effort into doing this capital plan if it becomes a useful document. I don't like putting effort into plans that don't get utilized. That's all I got.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about Mark's plan?
Thank you. Appreciate that, Steve. Thanks.
Mr. McCrisky, any questions?
No, I said Mark did a very good job on Mark's plan.
Ms. Roberts?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gito? So thank you for putting this together. I noticed that the school budget, the school capital plan is not included. You mentioned that. I think that's supposed to be integrated in this fiscal year. I haven't talked to anybody from the schools department about it. Have we heard if they have at least a soft deadline?
Well, the deadline was June of July 1st of 26, July of 26.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we got time.
But I think they may be before that from what I hear.
Okay.
So.
Thanks for reminding me. For some reason, I just thought fiscal year 26, not June 26, but you're right.
Mr. Chairman, when I see all these zeros on the capital plan, I'm reminded of what my grandmother used to say about her brother Mark. That Mark is a big spender.
He's just trying to get his next contract landed over here. Blame it on Mark.
So thank you very much. If there's no further questions, thank you very much for your time, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We'll be revisiting this at our next meeting, probably both items. So the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. There's 3 items. A, approval of open session minutes, meeting of November 4th, 2025, November 13th, 2025, and November 18th, 2025. Item B, Faxon Park permit application, Rabbi Mendel Gerkow for Hanukkah dreidel and menorah display on December 11th, 2025 through December 24th, 2025. And item C, approval of no engine brake sign along Pleasant Street.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion to approve the consent agenda made by Mr. Gito, seconded by Vice Chair Roberts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second.
Sorry, what was the motion? Motion to adjourn made by Mr. Gito, seconded by Ms. Roberts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The time is 9:50. The meeting is adjourned. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.